with Hood in the morning. Call in now.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. See, if that's not the realest shit in the world.
The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. Today, I want to talk about something that is forgotten by most people. However, it is inherent in most people. And what I want to talk about is praise. What does it mean to praise in reference to, on these Sundays, we've been exploring the Gnostic scripts and Gnostic sermons. And when we think about our soul, how do we honor it? Is it just something that just like nonchalant, you know, I have a soul, big deal, whoop de whoop? Or is it something that we give praise to? So if we was in church, we give praise to God. And that, singing, dancing, ever since we got out of church, when we are attempting to praise or attempting to rejoice or attempting to worship, we don't know where to put that energy because we're no longer Christian, Muslim, or Jews. We are just these independent spiritual beings. But when we try to understand the personification of God through the modality of our soul, what is that expression? So a person could listen to this and think of it as, something to listen to, or a person could simply begin to practice praise and understanding what praise is. So, first things first, let's look up the etymology. To express admiration of, to commend, to adulate, to flatter. Now, we could praise a person, we could praise a place, we could praise a thing, but in a spiritual context, the goal is for you to praise your soul, to express admiration of your soul, to commend your soul, to adulate your soul, to flatter your soul. So when you think about all of the things that you can do, the life that you are going to lead and live and be so happy, you know, so successful, so at peace, give thanks to God or give thanks to your soul. And that should be understood as praise. So many times when we come into an understanding of our soul, we want to be nonchalant when it comes to the concept of awakening or awareness. But these aren't things to be nonchalant about. These are things to be jumping up and down, screaming and shouting and singing and dancing. These are the things to be grateful for. But so many people, so many times, go through life, go through their existence by not praising, by not honoring, by not worship, not even recognizing their soul. So praise is actually an advanced concept for advanced spiritual beings. Because the first step is you have to be aware of it, aware of your soul. Recognize that you are the soul, that you are the universe, that you are connected to the all. So many stuff, so many things in this world to distract you from this very fact, from this very reality. There's a good book called Everywhere You Go, There You Are by John Kabat-Zinn. And this is a daily devotional. I think it's like 365 pages that help you meditate, be aware of your soul in the present state of your being. Because at every moment of your awareness, your soul is active and available to be praised, to be worshiped, to be wondered about, to be contemplated on. So many people don't. So many people forget. But you also have to bear witness to the sunflower. You also have to bear witness to the child that wakes up happy every day, or the sunflower that follows the sun throughout this whole process. The sunflower does not have to be taught. The sunflower doesn't have to go to church, school, join a class to follow God. It just inherently, naturally follows God. Because when you meditate, when you clear your mind from conscious, disruptances and distractions, when you strip everything down to the bare bones, when you're in full meditation, you are connected to the sacred. And your ability to connect to the sacred, which is such a wonderful thing, nobody can take it away from you. Nobody can hold it back from you. Everybody has access to the sacred, to the universe, but we have to strip down everything that we believe to be true about life, about this material nature. And this is what the Gnostics teach. So once again, the sunflower doesn't need a church. The sunflower doesn't need a school. Every day it wakes up and it follows God. That is something that flows from within it, and you are similar to a sunflower. You have all of the keys and codes that you need within yourself. If you feel as though you need to go to school, if you feel as though you need to go to a class, if you feel is that there's some external guru, then what tends to happen is that you have forgotten that you have a soul. So once again, praise is an advanced concept. Praise is a result of simply being aware. Most people are not aware that they have a soul. Because if you are truly aware of your soul, you would constantly meditate. If you actually knew the value of the soul, if you actually knew that you had a genie and all you had to do was rub it 3 times, you would consistently rub. But most people feel and know and trust that it's something external, whether it be God, whether it be success, whether it be a relationship, that is going to sustain them and carry them through life. But if you begin to observe life for a long amount of time, you will start to see only the strong survive. Where do people pull their strength from? They pull their strength from the soul. This is just the natural fact. So what is the purpose of meditating? What is the purpose of understanding your soul? Is that you will connect to universal energy. See, what nobody tells you, what nobody begins to explain to you is that you emerged from chaos. So since you emerge from chaos, that means you are access to chaos. But most people do not understand and understand what chaos is. But when you begin to understand and understand chaos, then you understand that you have a connection to the limitless all. You can fill in all of the gaps in your life by simply being aware and giving thanks and being grateful. And I'll explain this process thoroughly throughout this presentation. But what is praise? What is the essence of praise? It is the recognition of gratitude. What is the recognition of gratitude? The recognition of gratitude is that I am grateful for the opportunity to be grateful. Once you begin to put yourself in the frame of mind, regardless of what you're going through, regardless of what your finances are looking like, regardless of your marital status, because you cannot change the past, you can change the future. How are you going to change the future, Kyrie? You're going to be grateful. And then you're going to be grateful that you are grateful. And then you're going to be grateful that you could be grateful. And it just rampages. It just builds and it just builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. So now, after a period of time of understanding gratitude, you create a life that is nothing but things that you are grateful for. And because you created so many things that you are grateful for, you are immersed in gratitude. You know what unlocks this? Praise, worship, dance, singing, connecting to that soul energy that moves you, that vibrates you, that understands you at the deepest emotional level when nobody else does, that puts you in situations that allows things to happen for you. You have so much to be grateful for. And by the time you got through with being grateful for the things that you have been grateful for, you'd have been done manifested more things that you could be grateful for. This is a simple formula, but it's all rooted in praise. So when we understand praise, praise is a combination of two words, right? The one word is prize. I'm sorry. I know it's made of two words. I just forgot what the second word is. One is prize, and the other one is price. So what they say is praise is a doublet and is a combination of the words price and prize. So a deeper understanding of praise is value. How much do you value your soul? What is the price of your soul? And if you ever win a prize, you feel like you've won a prize. You are grateful for the opportunity. So another level of a prize is basically something for nothing. Grace is something for nothing. Favor is something for nothing. So life is something for nothing. A lot of people feel as though it was something that they had to work for. Life. No, that's your job. Life was given unto you. So how do you feel about it? Are you grateful for it? And once you are grateful for it, when do you stop being grateful for it? The answer is never. So, like I said, praise is a combination of two words, price and prize. So that is a question that you have to ask yourself. How much do you value your soul? And if you do value your soul, how do you access it? Do you access your soul through meditation, through spiritual work, through ritual? Or is this something that you are just, first of all, YouTube videos, lectures, books is not direct experience of your soul. It requires the inner dream work, meditation work, but you'll never get there if you don't understand the value of your soul, the inherent worth that you are born with. How do you know that you don't really feel that inherent worth? Because we leverage our time for money. When the reality is, especially if you're 30, 40 years old, you ain't have nothing but time to create a business for yourself, develop relationships that'll bring you into $2 to $3 million. But what do? We wasted our time. Why? Because we didn't understand, or we wasn't aware that we had a soul. And once again, having a soul is not enough. What work do you do to alchemize and transmute the energy? So it's like you have this mine with diamonds in it, but you have to break through to get to the actual treasure. And this is what we call meditation and spiritual work and solitude and journaling and dream journaling and reading your chart, breaking down your chart, relationships, shadow work in your relationship, shadow work in your finances, shadow work in your relationship to God, getting clear with all of this stuff, because you could be associated with the next great spiritual guru who sees you as his benevolent or her benevolent successor. But if you don't see your soul, that's not going to cut it. You're not going to get to heaven and God asks you, well, what did you do? And you say, well, I was such and such sidekick. I joined up for Sister Shirley's class. What do it matter? If you can cultivate and see God within yourself, I don't care who you associated with. I see the God within you. And that association is not going to take away or add to the work that you need to do in realizing your self-worth. But how do you express it? You express it through praise. Praise for yourself. So like when you like sell a house, they call it, to determine the value of a house is called an appraisal, right? So when you step into certain, you know that people could appraise themselves $10,000, $100,000 for consultant services, and some people will say, I'll read you for free. You'll have to reflect on how you appraise your spiritual gifts. And a lot of times people have spiritual gifts and then they feel like, well, I shouldn't charge for it. But then at the same time, you don't value that spiritual gift. And 10 times out of 10, you'll lose it. It's not something that you can take for granted. And how you value your spiritual gifts, your time, you charge for your time. And you should know how much your time is worth. And you would be surprised. The crazy part of the psychology about this shit, the more you charge, the more people value what you have. And the more they're more likely to spend with you. And I'm not coming from a perspective of somebody who has like never done shit in reference to spiritual work. So working a full-time job, somebody telling me this, I will roll my eyes like, nigga, what you talking about? But I literally was working a full-time job and was specifically told that this wasn't my calling, that my calling was in the spiritual world. Didn't make sense, but that was 10 years ago. And a lot of it, the progression or the ability to still be here and do what I do is because I have to value my time and my energy. But that's praise, or if that don't make sense, just think about getting your house appraised. Can't sell a house without an appraisal. So why aren't you excited about your soul? Because you forgot that you had one. It's called spiritual amnesia. So what's the first step? You gotta first remember. So that's kind of abstract. So let me clarify. For at least 100,000 years, human beings have survived throughout time against predators and all types of shit with their wits. So the ability to survive across generations, and you know that human beings have survived across generations against giants, monsters, saber-toothed tigers, woolly mammoths, all types of predators, serpents, anacondas, rainforests. Rainforest is no joke. Mountains, all types of terrains, all type of climates, all types of temperatures. Human beings have figured a way out. This is a fact. So therefore, if you are going to say, well, how am I going to get out of this situation? It's simple. Remember that you are divine. What have got you into a fucked up situation in the first place? You have forgotten your power. Since you have forgotten your power, you can remember your power. But once again, we're not just going to say something that's just going to be empty handed. Oh, I'm going to remember my power. Not so fast. You have to meditate. You have to clear your mind of all of this conscious bullshit and pressure and anxiety and fear and worry and social constructs and familial relations and grief and separation, all of that. You have to release all of that to even put yourself in a place to start remembering who you are as a spiritual being. And once you put yourself in a space that you're saying, okay, I'm I want to remember, so I'm doing the work to remember. Now you are going to awaken your kundalini. This is why in the Bible they talk about serpents. This is why in Hindu they talk about serpents. Serpents are just keywords for your kundalini, which is your soul or your spiritual intelligence. Your spiritual intelligence is going to teach you how to survive against a grizzly bear or a woolly mammoth. And you would say, well, ain't no grizzly bears around me, ain't no woolly mammoths around me. You're in good shape then. You can make it. So in order to, it sounds so simple because it is so simple. If you can understand that you have forgotten, you can take the time set aside to remember. In a lot of places where you are being shown or taught is in your dreams. When you dream, you are seeing yourself in multiple dimensions, in different timelines, and different vessels. It's like if you ever seen Loki and you see like everything existing in one continuum at the same time. That's kind of what it is when we dream. But you could be doing the same thing every day, but shift your remembrance and shift your awareness and have a completely different reality. Because once again, that simple random dream that was just, some shit that was just like crazy. I had this crazy ass dream, right? That's what somebody's going to say. Versus I want to remember who I am spiritually, and I'm picking up on every clue, every color, every dream sequence. I'm researching everything that is happening in my unconscious mind. When you be consumed with your unconscious mind, guess what you can't be? Consume what's happening in the news, in social media, in entertainment, all of this in your family, social circles. And at one level, it can feel very disconcerting and disconnected because you getting rid of everything that you've known and feel comfortable with. But if you have a drive to want to know what the hell this thing is called life, you have to follow yourself. You have to remember who you are, because remembering who you are is remembering your sacred path. The issue that we come into in 2025, we are under the illusion that somebody else can tell us who we are. And Even if a person can read you down to a T, it doesn't absolve you of personal responsibility. So a reading could only be 1% of what it's going to take for you to get to the next level. That other 99% is going to be you taking personal responsibility to what? Remember who you are. Because you don't know who you are. You actually you actually think that who you are is who your mom named you to be. Who you went in high school, your girlfriend, boyfriend, job, your social status, things of that nature. As long as you are under that illusion that that's who you are, trust and believe you are suffering from spiritual amnesia. You have to begin to understand unequivocally who you are at a spiritual level. That's the get down, that's the reality. So, another part of this where people will be like, man, I'm depressed, I'm sad. No, you are just not connected to source. When you are connected to source, you are grateful for the opportunity to be grateful, which will create things that you should be grateful for, which then gives you more things to be grateful for, which makes you create more things that you should be grateful for, that makes you feel more grateful. So now you want to create more things that you feel grateful for. So now you feel grateful. So because you feel grateful, you're going to create more things to be grateful for. Every relationship you're grateful for, every opportunity, every minute, every second, every millisecond, you are immersing yourself in gratitude because you are connected to your soul. You have the conscious awareness. You are listening to what I'm saying and you are connecting the dots. You have the opportunity to connect to your soul. It ain't no black pride, no gender affirming, none of that. You are a living, breathing soul. And you have the opportunity to be connected to that. Because in modern religion, they say that God is a father and God is a creator. But that is not true. They hijacked real truth and flipped it and made it believe that the original creatrix was a man. The original creatrix was a divine feminine that emerged from the chaos realm. And the chaos realm emerged from the pleroma. But when we understand chaos, we understand it as being something disorganized or something dark or something representing confusion. But chaos is actually a goddess. In Gnostic text, they call her Barbelo. In Greek mythology, they call the same goddess Chaos. Chaos is a mother that birthed a race of people who are chaos beings. The reality is that you can touch the chaos in your darkness, in your meditation. You are always in tune with the infinite. But what is the issue? We are colonized not only in our material world, we are colonized in spiritual development. We truly believe that God is somewhere existing outside of us. And so we go look in every mountain, every valley, every river, every ocean, every vacation resort looking for God. But, but if I'm telling people God is right here, don't cost no money, easy peasy, barely an inconvenience to find God within yourself, nobody is going to rock with me. Nobody is going to nobody is going to resonate on the fact that I'm talking about that God exists within you and me. Nobody's going to jump up and down and start screaming and start yelling and being excited and super grateful that God exists within this moment. I don't know why. I have no clue. But that's why I'm doing videos because I feel privileged to be the only person talking about this. Because I know I'm not crazy. So let's look up let's look up the Greek understanding of chaos so we can understand and understand why we should be praiseful, why we should be always grateful to know, right? Just to simply know, chaos was the first of the primordial gods to emerge at the dawn of creation. She was followed in quick succession by Earth, Tartaros, and Eros. Chaos was the lower atmosphere which surrounds the earth, both the invisible air and the gloom of fog and mist. The word chaos means gap or chasm, being the space between heaven and earth. Chaos was the mother and grandmother of other misty essences, as well as numerous emotion driving spirits. Night and Hemera, as well as the numerous emotion driving spirits which haunted it. She was a goddess of fate, like her daughter Nick and her granddaughters Morai. As the goddess of air, Chaos was the mother of birds. Late classical authors redefined chaos as the chaotic mix of elements which existed in the primordial universe, conflating it with primal mud or the Orphic cosmogony. The modern English word chaos derives from this. So, what we understand chaos to be isn't the original meaning of chaos. Chaos is a goddess, chaos is a mother that when we fully understand it, it is just a representation that we are actively in this moment, in this space, in this time, without a shadow of a doubt, limitless. And if we do feel that there are limits, if we do feel there are setbacks, we have created those for ourselves. Now, the way to access this chaos is not by listening to me talk about it. That's very important because anybody that will speak in reference to this, they will then have a $100 course or $1,000 course that's going to help you access chaos and things of that nature. But I'm not going to waste your time or your money because you need direct experience. This is the purpose of meditation. Because you can read every book in the library, chaos is beyond knowledge. You can know yourself down to a T, what you like, what you dislike, your preferences, your standards, what you stand for. You got zero tolerance on this, but chaos goes beyond who you are as a human being. You may know yourself very well, but we are talking about going deeper and knowing yourself as a god, accessing your Atman in Vedic mythology, right? I'm just explaining that this is the truth. So the Advaita Vedanta philosophy, the Atman, the individual soul, and the Brahman, the universal soul or ultimate reality, are considered to be essentially the same, but they can be seen as two sides of the same coin. One's in the chat if y'all can read that. One's in the chat if y'all can see that. The Atman, the individual soul, the Brahman, the universal soul or ultimate reality, are considered to be essentially the same, but they can be seen as two sides of the same coin. This is what we call praise. This is what we call worship. This is what we call love of God. Why should I love God in the first place? Because the love of God gives me access to the ultimate reality. Because the ultimate reality and the individual soul are one in the same. This is not something that I'm creating or making up. I just want y'all to put a simple one in the chat if y'all can read that and understand this. Because it's as important as a hammer to nails. Imagine if you had to put nails into something and you ain't have a hammer. You had to push it in with your fingers. You would hate to have to do that all day. And then somebody say, man, use this hammer to push these nails in. It's so much easier. That is your soul in the ultimate reality, in the awareness first. I'm aware of my soul. And then two, the practice of getting in unison with my soul through meditation, through journaling, through dream work, through exercise, through walking, through solitude, through relationship shadow work, things of that nature. Unconditional love to my partner, unconditional love to my family members, unconditional love to my exes, unconditional love to my children. I'm just practicing how to be God. I'm just getting used to being God and understanding God within myself. Intermittent fasting, fasting for longer. I'm just practicing on how God lives. What does God eat? Good thing about God, he don't got a grocery bill. Imagine if he did. The Atman is often described as Brahman, but covered by the individual's physical and mental body. The physical lust and the mental perversions, anxiety, all of the things that you're free to think about. You can play a video game, you can watch TV, Netflix, you can go to a movie, go to the mall, all of these things you can do. And never once do you sit and say, I'm going to give praise and thanks to my soul, because that is no longer important. And we as a society, as people, have forgotten the thing that the roach haven't forgotten. The mouse haven't forgotten it. The dog haven't forgotten it. The cat haven't forgotten it. The flower haven't forgotten it. The blade of grass haven't forgotten it. You have forgotten it because why? You haven't been taught it. We need to be taught this. The concept is often illustrated with the analogy of the ocean and the wave, where the wave, the Atman, is a manifestation of the ocean, Brahman. The fundamental understanding is that Atman and Brahman are not separate entities, but rather different perspectives of the same underlying reality. And isn't that so amazing that you can get in tune with the whole universe and you don't need nobody? You don't need to kiss ass. You don't need to brown nose. You don't need to kiss up. You don't need to be in spaces where you feel disrespected, unloved, unappreciated, undervalued. As soon as these situations occur, you know how that meme is. Just slowly walk back because you value your soul. You value everything about yourself. You only in situations where you feel loved and respected and valued. So how does your soul start to recognize you? Through your relationship, through your career, through your standing in life, through your what you are able to do, what you're not able to do, that you used to be, you know, so free to do. Now you don't want to do it. That's God showing up in your life, removing the spirit of addiction from you, removing the spirit of lust for you. You remember when you were so angry, you used to just snap, and God removed that from you because you did alchemy, because you meditated, because you prayed it away. And you thought you would never get over this pain, you would never get over this hurt, you would never get over this anxiety, and you didn't even realize. And you know God is real because think about exercise, right? I was thinking about this today. You could work with your body and strengthen your body. Like you can use weights, but you don't even need weights. You can do push-ups, pull-ups, dips. You can use your own body weight and get stronger. That's the same thing as accessing your soul. Imagine somebody, you going to the gym and you paying a nigga to lift your arms up so you can get stronger, moving your legs so you can get stronger. That don't work. So we have already come to the realization that the Atman and the Brahma are one and the same. This is not something that I've created or made up. Not the human in the universe, because that's the ego. That's delusion. That's glamour. But the soul and the universe are one and the same. And what is the purpose of meditation? What is the purpose of praise? Because you have access to all creation. You just haven't cultivated this. So the soul is the soul is the universe. Atman is Brahman. What does this mean? You are a part of God. And because you are a part of God, that means you are fully God, and that is praiseworthy. That is something to feel good about. Do I expect you to start having the Holy Ghost, jumping up and down, screaming and shouting? Yes. I'm not going to lie. But at the very least, I want you to feel good because you know that you have a soul. I want you to feel good because you have the divine spark. And if you can't find it, that is the purpose of meditation. That is the purpose of clearing your mind. That is the purpose of clearing your house out of things that you don't need. That is the purpose from ending a toxic relationship. That is the purpose for moving out that city into a new one, starting a new relationship. That is the purpose of loving your children deeply. That is the purpose for going to community college to start your career. Because you are trying to figure out what your light is, what your spark is. And so we were talking about mushrooms and how mushrooms are the fruiting body of the mycelial network. And that is that's even abstract as I'm saying it, I know, but let's clarify. Let's look at an apple tree. The apple tree is the apple tree, but the fruit of the apple tree is what? The apples. The essence of the apple tree is always going to be encoded in that tree, and that tree always produces apples. Always produces apples. You can guarantee that the apple tree, the cherry tree, the lemon tree, the coconut tree is always going to produce the fruit for which they are constituted to produce. You are a fruit tree. And you might be trying to figure out how you produce the fruit that you're supposed to produce, but God already has that covered. The coconut does not go to coconut tree school to learn how to produce coconuts. It is inherent. That's why you have to meditate. That's why you have to clear your mind. That's why you have to stop thinking that what people have told you about yourself is the truth. Because you're not as good as people say you are. You're not as bad as people say you are. You are who you are as a divine soul, and you need to figure out what fruit you are to produce in this world. Most people have not figured that out yet because they don't see themselves as something that is to produce at an inherent natural level. But the plant has its purpose. The sunflower has its purpose. The insect has its purpose. But your ass out here fucking laying on the couch all day feeling sorry for your motherfucking self. Because an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend or a job. None of that shit matter when you figure out what fruit you produce. You produce a fruit. And it is a natural hormonal process. You are like a tree that is blossoming, that is growing, that is developing, but you have to tune into yourself and do the work. You have to understand, and don't take my word for it. Do your research on Atman and Brahma. Read the text surrounding it. Have it sink into your subconscious mind. Know that through your study, through your research, through your cultivation, you are accessing the greatest part of your life, and can't nobody give it to you. To feel good, for the opportunity to feel good, is praise and worship and honor and love of God within yourself. for this opportunity with all that's going in the world, you can still feel grateful. You can still operate in gratitude. So I'm inviting you to praise, to worship, to rejoice in the fact that you have a soul. And I'm going to break down each three of these words individually. And please understand that we're talking about the same thing. So, the etymology of rejoice is the fact of a celebration that emerges from recognizing your specific divine nature. Good, I don't know what my specific divine nature is because you haven't meditated enough. You haven't cleared enough. That's why we here every Sunday, 2619, John R., the Mothership Sanctuary. Come through, smoke a blunt with your boy. This joy transcends worldly happiness. So, whatever you accomplish in life, and I love talking to older people, because older people have already accomplished something by now. And so what they figured out by accomplishing stuff is that it don't bring them no happiness like they thought it would by the time they accomplished it. Oh, I'm gonna get my college degree. I'm gonna be so happy. Oh, I'm gonna get my promotion. I'm gonna be so happy. Oh, when I be able to get my car, I'm gonna be so happy. Oh, when I buy my house, I'm gonna be so happy. Oh, when I'm able to go on 4 vacations a year, I'm gonna be so happy. Oh, when I get a second car, I'm gonna be happy. Oh, when I start my real estate business, I'm gonna be happy. Oh, when I start my investment portfolio, I'm gonna be happy. Oh, when I reach my deathbed, I'm gonna be happy. Oh, when I transition out the body, I'm gonna be happy. This whole time, you could have been giving praise to your soul. Don't worry about what's going to manifest in your life. Give praise now. Honor your soul now. Give gratitude for some shit that you're about to be grateful for tomorrow. You don't know tomorrow you're going to be grateful. Tomorrow I'm going to be grateful for some shit. I know I'm going to be grateful. Tomorrow I know things are going to work out for me. I know it is. It worked out before. Why won't it work out again? It's going to keep working out for me. Everything is always working out for me because I'm grateful for the fact that it is. Give praise now. Don't wait until you. Life is so short. Like you think life is long, but life is so short. And guess what? Guess what they say? Time flies when you're having fun. So if you want a long, hard life, keep feeling like shit. Keep holding on to some shit that you feel like you can't get over. Or you can just give praise now. You can stomp like your auntie, you know what I'm saying? Catching the Holy Ghost. Give praise to your soul. Immerse yourself in the fact that I am praising my soul. I don't care what the fuck is going on right now. I'm going to let you have it, but I'm praising my soul right now. You want some juice, Lil Ray Ray? Get your ass some juice. I'm praising my soul right now. Go ahead and watch goddamn Coco Melon or whatever the hell you're going. I'm praising my soul right now. I'll deal with you in a second. This practice transforms your entire existence. Worship. Conscious niggas, we afraid of the concept of worship because we think about Mr. Man in the sky. But we're not talking about Sky Daddy. We're talking about the devotion to your inner divinity. Your inner divinity will reveal your ultimate truth, your ultimate path. To worship means to marvel at the infinite wisdom emerging from within yourself. I literally take the time, the space to reflect on the soul every Sunday for nothing. Like, I don't care about shit in reference to just having this conversation. I go through Gnostic scriptures every Sunday on this channel. and I bring to y'all a Gnostic sermon. The Gnostic text that I was referencing today, however, was the three steles of Seth. And then the third stele, the quote that I pulled most of this conversation from, is this: we rejoice, we rejoice, we rejoice, or we praise, we praise, we praise. We have seen, we have seen, we have seen really pre-existed one, that he really exists, that he is the first eternal one. They are talking about your soul when you see your soul. And we talking about deep meditation. We talking about deep spiritual work, allowing your body to get completely relaxed so you can go deep into the portal, into your inner self, into your heart space, where you will see the goddess, where you will see the God. And most people will never have direct experience because they do not value meditation. They do not value their soul. They don't want to pay the price, which is time and energy. They rather impress, they rather make money, and no shade. That's what people are going to do. But this is a small token of my appreciation and gratitude for all the support that I've gotten on this channel for the past 9 years going on. So I just want to say thanks and much love from my family to yours. Hopefully you took something from this, that you will be able to give praise to your soul, that you will just be so grateful and so immersed in all things positive in reference to you, in reference to your wisdom, in reference to your ability to heal, and in reference to your ability to transform. I just want to create a space where somebody is directly telling you, I don't care who it is, that I believe in you. I trust you. I know that you're going to make it. I know everything is going to be perfect and it's going to plan out the way that you want it to, because you have cultivated your soul. You have meditated on this fact. You have meditated for the chance. Got another verse that I feel like is poignant. I got to think of it. I can't find it, but it's one of those. It's basically. I'm gonna go and paraphrase it. In the Song of Solomon, it's saying like a person have waited this whole time, and I don't got my original tripod, so this one's got me looking crazy. Oh yeah, this is the I found it. The one whom my soul loves, right? That's what I'm talking about. I knew I was gonna figure it out. It was but a little that I passed from them, but I found him whom my soul loveth. I held him and would not let him go, but until I have brought him into my mother's house and into the chamber of her that conceived me. Right? This is some very deep meditation, metaphysical stuff right here. Right? See if I can get a bigger version. So I know motherfuckers be wanting to see. So the Song of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 4. It was but little that I passed from them, but I found who my soul loveth. So basically, when you individuate, you doing that so you can access your soul, so you can magnetize that specific energy or that specific person or that specific circumstance that your soul loves. Crazy work, man. So, how do you get there? I held him and would not let him go. This is conscious awareness. This is really grasping and understanding and understanding what your soul represents. And I brought him into my mother's house. This is much more deeper into like progressing into understanding that God is representing that divine feminine concept. And we got to talk about bridal chamber at a certain point in time, because really what this is specifically talking about is the unification of your masculine and feminine energy. And most people have to do this to become whole. So the Song of Solomon is not necessarily talking about two people, but mainly one person that is specifically trying to unify himself. And that is the get down for all of the secret societies, all of the OTOs and Freemasonic. It is to unify your masculine and feminine side so you can become whole. Because what does that represent? That represents a person who have accessed their soul, right? So, like I said, I don't want these to be too long or too drawn out. Just wanted to take some time to talk about some things that most people aren't talking about, that don't really have nothing to do with current events, but just really to deal with the soul. And so I hope that y'all can receive this and allow this to take you further. If you need any sacrament, be sure to visit whiterabbitspike.com or pull up to the Mothership Sanctuary at 2619 John R. We got events Tuesday, Wednesday, White Rabbit. So come get some free samples, eat some food, fellowship, things of that nature. We basically here every day, so pull up at any time. If you feel moved or led, hit up the collection plate at $ Hood Mystic 38 on Cash App. Much love, appreciation, and thanksgiving in advance. I'm the Hood Mystic. Check out everything Hood Mystic at hoodmystic.com, White Rabbit site, Columbian Exchange. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. I'll see everybody on the flip side.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning. Call in now.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. See, if that's not the realest shit in the world.